Welcome back to the Yonko Podcast. My name is Alex. This here is Brock.
Hi.
He likes broccoli. We are reviewing chapter 1085.
Only in certain ways.
The Death of Nefertari Cobra, who did not die by broccoli. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment down below, and what, Brock?
Ring the bell.
Ding-a-ling!
Bang, dang.
Ding-a-ling! We'd appreciate the support. We're trying to pump out more content for you guys across platforms, i.e. our Facebook, our Instagram, eventual Patreon, this channel. So keep supporting, and we will keep providing. Brock!
Alex!
This is a crazy chapter, my guy.
Honestly, it didn't actually get, crazy for me until, the second half.
Im talked? Crazy. Im attacked? Crazy.
Okay, no, so...
The Gorosei got burned into devils. Crazy.
So I'm not, That's not what I
Frankie is saving turtles. Insane.
That's not crazy.
Insane the way this man is moving. What else happened? Sabo
Fucking Wapple saved Vivi.
Wapple saved Vivi. CP9 is back as CP0 Aegis. That's exciting. Yes. I like them in their new outfits. That's cool. Big fan. They lost Vivi. That's not good for them. That's a big blunder.
Also, this, but really, real quick.
Yeah.
So this speaks, I want to point out, this speaks back to how Sabo was seemingly cold about Nefertari's death. So this tells immensely otherwise.
Yeah.
He actually went to save him, but Nefertari Vivi told him, not Vivi, Nefertari Cobra told him to go. So this paints a whole new picture there.
Tell Luffy,
I'll just slow you down.
Bring this info beyond this place and let the Dawn, we thought that was a Wano thing, right? Onigashima would fall, Kaido would fall, it would be free, the Dawn came, it's happened in the morning.
Maybe, what if D stands for Dawn?
D could stand for Dawn. It's so interesting that there are all these different words that start with D that could be. But if I may bring up another word, Brock, if I may bring up another word that starts with D, in reference to Im is looking like a devil. Look what hits Cobra here. Look what attacks Sabo here. It is a arrow, a black arrow.
I mean, that's a straight up devil's tail.
Reminiscent of a devil's tail.
Yeah.
Sabo says we're in hell at the top of the world. I think we're kind of saying that Im may have the devil fruit.
Might be the originator.
The devil know me. And if I may add, all these other fucking Gorosei have some crazy ass fruits too. Look at these forms. This guy over here looks like a pig. That's a bird. That's a giant. You know what that actually reminds me of? The dude crawling down from the top. You can see the picture. Yeah. I'll post it here. That reminds me of that fucking guy in the Florian Triangle. Those giant ass silhouetted creatures.
No, I actually saw a little. I didn't watch it, but I saw a video cover that said Imu might have created those big giant creatures in the Florian Triangle.
You think Im might have done that?
Maybe.
The dude can do a lot of things. Here's my next point. There is a... I'm just going to call it a form. There is a form of the Gorosei, I'm assuming, the Gorosei here. Because here's the other thing. They're all silhouetted in a way where Im could be all of these things, right? Im looks like a shadow. Like, completely silhouetted, crazy eyes, got the tail that attacks, it's covered in black. Yeah. It could be Haki. Honestly, I don't know what to do when Oda just draws black, right? This could all be Im. The Gorosei could be connections of himself. I don't know where Im ends.
I was thinking of a similar thing.
Yeah, I don't know where Im ends and these guys begin.
But also, a couple things. I'm beginning to think that, and obviously I guess he'll be proven wrong, I'm beginning to think that Im isn't just shadowed. Like, he seems to be like...
You're thinking that's genuinely what he may look like.
Like, well, I mean, like, there might be something behind... Like, he might be a little bit shadowed, but it seems like the base color is black to me. Of, like, whatever he's wearing or whatever his form takes.
Could be. It could also be that Oda still wants to reveal... He revealed a lot this chapter. In terms of the Gorosei and what they seemingly can do.
And also, another thing is... This kind of brings an interesting roundabout to my thought that... How the D's are the enemy of the gods... Maybe these are that enemy... These might be those godly enemies that the actual D's are enemies of. And it might be their own clan of devils or whatever. I don't know. But also, they definitely seem, just in terms of form and appearance, the exact opposite of what Luffy looks like when he's Joy Boy.
Let me add a little bit of extra spice on that comment of yours.
I like spice.
You're saying devil, and you're also saying dawn. What if the dawn sheds light on these creatures, and they can no longer hide in these shadowy, horrifying forms?
I'm thinking that's very much could be a case. Like, I think that's why Joy Boy is needed.
Both in the sense that, you know, that, I mean, Luffy's a sun god, bro. Nika no Mi. What shines more light than the sun, right?
Yeah.
Sabo is the Flame Emperor, and he's not illuminating any of this
so
shit.
So cool, though, because essentially it's the dawn versus the void.
Yes. Don't forget the little note here about, you know, Emu or Mu in that case, meaning both dream or void. Dream! Another D word. Dream!
And also, now we know that the Nefertari family has D's. They're part of the D clan.
It was Nefertari D Lili, right? So Vivi.
She's part of the D clan.
Nefertari. Cobra D Nefertari, right? It's crazy, and they opposed God, and they got fucking murdered. Well,
also, I mean, and also we can't forget the fact that Law is also a D.
Law is a D, and he is deep down in the water right now, being carried by a bear.
And Saul is, as far as I know, still alive.
Saul is a D.
I'm seeing a bunch of D's coming back together, man.
Well, and here's the other thing too. Sabo is also now a D. SAD.BO.
He's an honorary D.
Oda fucking watches stuff, dude. I'm telling you, he's seen all of us making all these jokes about people with D's in their name. O-D-N, right? Odin with a... Right? He watches, guys. If you create One Piece content, he's maybe watching right now. I want to come back to the Gorosei for a second.
Yeah.
Or what my assumption is the Gorosei. You got a pig, you got a bird, you got this super giant that looks like he's straight out of the Florian Triangle. There's Onigashima. Literally, looks like the island of Onigashima. Tell me I'm wrong. The horns, the eyes, that looks like the skull of the island.
So wait, tell me where you're at?
This guy right here, Brock. Right here.
Okay, yeah.
This guy looks like Onigashima. Do they maybe represent the arcs? I don't know. But here's the most interesting one. In the back, you have this character that seems to have a cloud around them.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Where have we seen this before? Nika and an awakened Lucci. Okay? Are we saying one of these guys is awakened? That's even crazier.
So also,
did Sabo walk in here thinking he could just take out the 5 Elder Stars with one flame fist?
I think so. He probably had the same thought.
How impertinent!
Well, he probably had the same thought process you had of that they weren't fighters, they were just leaders.
And I don't know if they are fighters.
I mean,
they have some crazy forms.
So also,
they were gonna cap. They were gonna shoot.
Another question I wanted to ask Alex is, do you think they just have shadowy forms, or do you think they're shadowed and they have real, actual like colors to them and forms?
The mystery of the world government and the whole aspect of, you know, what happened in the Void Century is not being... It's not having light shed upon it. Mm-hmm. And I think Oda is paralleling that with these shadowy figures. Because Sabo doesn't say, look at these shadowy figures. He doesn't notate that. He just says, yo, how was I supposed to know that, you know, hell was located here at the top of the world?
Also,
like, he's fucking horrified.
You know, that also brings an interesting thought process to, like, say, that interesting three-way fight I'm thinking of, or a three-way standoff, not including Aki Inu. Because I think by the end of this, Aki Inu is going to be out of his depth. I'm thinking, this is just a format. This is just a general format, rough draft. So we got Luffy, a true D, smiles if he's about to die, brings happiness, that kind of thing. Yeah. You got Imu, a true void, true darkness.
Yeah.
And then you got Blackbeard, who's a monster.
Who actually...
He has a mix of the two.
Right.
He's got the powers of the Void people. For now, I'm referring them as Void people.
Sure. People of the Void. People of that time.
People of the Void. But he's also a D? Supposedly?
And you know,
so maybe he's like a corrupted D.
I like your idea of the standoff too, and the thing that
it doesn't have to
say,
end the standoff, but it's just an interesting triangle right there. That's just what I'm like letting into right now.
It's cool.
As like the three, as like good, the bad, and the ugly.
There are so many levels to this shit. There's so many levels, and Im says himself, D is the moniker of our ancient enemy. In recent times, it's cropped up more frequently. However, it is nothing but a faint echo. He doesn't even see those that have the letter D in their name as threats.
Well, they don't know what their name means.
And
anymore.
maybe they don't need to, right? Luffy's doing all this shit not because he has a D, because he wants to be like Roger, who also was a D.
But maybe it's one of those things where the name gives power, and once you know the meaning of the name, you gain that power.
It could. It does seem like Cobra uses the last bits of his life to provide that information to someone who's going to get away.
Yeah.
You know, he knows he's done. He knows there's no getting out of this for him, but maybe Sabo can, and maybe Sabo providing that information can somehow, you know, free the world in the right hands, i.e. those hands being Luffy's.
So, do you think the D clan, do you think they're all connected by blood, or do you think there's... Like, do you think it's possible that Vivi and Luffy are distantly related?
Let's not forget that we have had, and I want to say this is a brand new one too, I think we've had 13 people with like D, right? So like Trafalgar D Water Law, right? So Trafalgar, that's a family of D's, right? Monkey, that's a family of D's. Portgas is a family of D's. Nefertari is a new one. Jaguar, right? Do the last names even matter, or are D's like describing a certain kind of expectation, right? You give a D to, you know, those that will come later in hopes that they will change the world. Or Odin was not a D, but you could easily say Odin did some important ass shit.
Oh no, he didn't have the D. He didn't have the D.
He didn't have the D.
He wasn't a D, but he had the spirit of one.
That's the thing. Just because there's a moniker that kind of points to family that descend, maybe.
So you don't think they're all blood related?
I don't think they need to be.
That's fine.
I think D isn't necessarily a family. It's more of an idea that
like
clearly Im wants to destroy and expel and make. Because look at the words, right? Vivi. What did he say? The release of the Poneglyphs was the worst possible outcome for us, right? The information of what happened in the Void getting out, that sucks for us.
Yeah.
Right? Lily made a mistake, or was it a larger plan? Obviously, it was a larger plan.
And you know what's fun, too?
Obviously.
Imu, who seems to be all-knowing, didn't know that Lily was a D.
No. Well, maybe. No, maybe he did. Or she did. I don't know who fucking Emu is now.
It doesn't look like Emu.
Because he does say this. No, well, here's what he says, though. The truth is... what? No. Because he does say something. He says, here. Go ahead and divulge the full name of her letter as written. So pray tell, was it deliberate choice to only refer to her as Queen Lily of House Nefertari? That, to me, implies that he does know.
He might suspect, but I don't think he knew.
He might have.
Because he seemed surprised by the revelation.
I think he was more surprised that, like, Nefertari Cobra was bringing it up. Here's what I will say. I think that Im didn't know about the letter. I think he knew that Lily was a D, and that doesn't matter because no one would ever bring up Queen Lily. And here comes this fucking guy rolling in here on his wheelchair with a letter that he has never seen before that gives him information of the Void Century that was passed down by Lily, his self-proclaimed enemy.
Listen, it doesn't look like he knew. Like, it just... I can't explain it, but as it stands right now, his focus on the D, like, why? I don't think he would have just had him say that for exposition.
Here's what Im says, and you tell me at the end of this what you make of it. The same can be said of those irksome scholars investigating the so-called Void Century. Without that blunder, there would be no pirates chasing the poneglyphs in pursuit of treasure either. If it were not for Lili's incompetence, those vexing relics would have never been scattered all over the world. The release of the poneglyphs was the worst possible outcome for us, so one must wonder whether it was truly a mistake or if it was actually part of some larger plan. Everyone draws their guns. The truth undoubtedly lies in the letter. So what I think... Okay, so pray tell, was it a deliberate choice to only refer to her as Queen Lili of House Nefertari? Go ahead and divulge the full name on her letter as written. Cobra goes, fucked up, shit. The truth is, the letter from Arabas's ruler 8 centuries ago was signed by Queen Nefertari D. Lili. And then M says D and goes for the fucking strike.
Yeah.
So, you know what, Brock? You might have a point.
So what I'm thinking, Alex, I'm not saying that there wasn't any thought. Real quick.
Yes.
I'm thinking, so, because from the way Emu phrases it, they used to have some form of trust for Lili. And Lili had incompetence, which showed, like, because, like, Emu, the way they're giving off...
thought was incompetence.
Yes, but Emu gave off the vibe of someone not knowing that they were actually working with their longtime enemy. And so, this whole time, after running it through Emu's head, sounds like he's come to the conclusion, you know. And then it's like, read the whole name.
Yeah.
See, because he probably reached the conclusion, but I don't think he knew for sure until he read the letter to him.
And I will say to your point that he does say to Cobra, I'll answer those questions, but you have to answer mine.
Yeah.
That means he had a question, which means he didn't know something, and he wasn't going to kill Cobra until he found out.
Yeah.
And it does seem like he was betrayed by Lili, who, don't forget, was a part of the original 20 families that did whatever they did to the ancient kingdom and the world government took over. The difference was Lili never went there.
Yeah.
She went somewhere else. And for all this time, Im thought, well, she didn't come here. She made a mistake. And that's how this all happened.
What? Here's a question. Can you adopt the D name by marriage?
Maybe.
Because what if she left, met the one who would be her lover in the form of a D, got her name, and that maybe she didn't have that name before. Not now, obviously.
And clearly, this is a letter to the future, very similar to Toki's whole thing in Wano, right? She was writing to, what did it say? She was what does Cobra say? Cobra says, the poneglyphs we're assuming must be protected. Fly the flag that heralds the world's eventual dawn. Nefertari D. Lili. Right? We don't get the full letter. I want to know what the full letter says, but we don't get the full letter. But whatever happened in this room, Cobra knew. He says, what does he say? He goes, blah, 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 blah. Our cause is more because he stepped in and saved me too, blah, blah. I'm dead weight. You have a better chance of escaping. There's something I've come to understand, and if you die here, we'll be in trouble because I need you to deliver a message to Luffy, Kun, and Vivi. And then he says, tell them we share the moniker D. I finally know the path that Arabastir must follow. The poneglyphs, we're assuming it says must be protected. Fly the flag. And this RAR might cover more. I can't imagine Oda put that RAR there because there's not some information we can't glean from it.
For sure. Or maybe
because it looks like must be something. It must what we have be ECTED.
So what I'm reading, Alex, is he says the poneglyphs must be protected. Fly the flag that heralds. I don't think any of that's covered, but I do think it might have been put there to make it so Sabo might not have heard it all, as well.
Maybe, and then he gets Nefertari D. Lili out.
Yes.
And then Sabo disappears after that.
Damn.
So here's my thing. What if Lili did all this evil shit with all the other ones, established the world government, right? all right, we're all going to Marijois. We've wiped out the Lunarians. That's our new home up there. Woo-woo! Yeah, let's go!
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lily is falling in love with someone who is actively going against all of that. A remnant of the ancient kingdom, let's call it, right? Someone of the clan of D.
Yeah.
And she comes to realize that what she has done is wrong. And so she has to devise a plan to save that information for the future and to tell the future, hey, you need the information to know what happened so that this can be undone. Poneglyphs. She and this person work together and they spread the poneglyphs.
Do you think this person was the original Joy Boy?
Very likely. Very likely. And if that's the case, then something happens to her. She disappears, whatever, runs away with her lover. And that leaves Emu, if we are to believe that Emu is from that time, right? Mm-hmm. We are forced to believe that Emu was like, yes, 19 of us came, and one decided to rule the kingdom because the one who was supposed to come here never did. A poor mistake, right? And for all these years, he sees it as a blunder. Until Cobra comes in here, waving this letter around, being like, Ayo, she did this on purpose. And he goes, what?
Hold the phone.
What was her name? And then that's the first time he hears the D after the marriage or what have you, that clues him into, son of a bitch. Your family betrayed me. Kill him, right?
Son of a bitch.
And he shoots his fucking devil tail out. He fucking hits Cobra. Sabo's also there. Like, it's crazy. And in a sense, Cobra protects Sabo and lets him get away.
I mean, in all honesty, if there was going to be a fitting end for Cobra, it's here. The only reason I fought against him dying is just because I don't trust the news. So, but to see it actually happen is different.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, there's your body.
Yeah, there's a body, and the fact that he stood behind all these devils, maybe quite literally, tore him up. So,
and here's the thing: if you are the Gorosei and you are in, and you've controlled the world for this long, you have to have the best fruits. If they are all devil fruit users, you have to have the best of the best. And the fact that they all look like they could be like Zoan types, these all have to be crazy ass, mythical ass Zoans.
You know, it's interesting because, like, what if, I can't really put this entirely to format, but what if Emu's transformation, or whatever Emu might actually be, is the sea devil that the fruits came from?
The origin,
the power.
He is the devil fruit tree.
He is the devil, or maybe it's like Joy Boy, where it's a type of fruit that it's drawn to a certain type of person, just like Luffy's fruit.
Well, and let's not forget too, the roots that like provide light to the fishmen at the bottom of the sea, right? Those are the roots of Eden, right? Mm-hmm. And the tree of Eden is supposed to sit somewhere atop Marijois at the top of the red line. We have yet to see that tree, and it's been heavily speculated that perhaps it could be the origin of devil fruits. Then you have the Adam trees. Dang it, God Usopp! Then you have... Sorry, I'm talking about other gods. My apologies. And then you have the Adam tree. Obviously, it was, built for... You can fix that. That's going to bug me. You got it, Brock. And then you have the Adam tree, which is not very important. But here's the thing. Maybe what we've gotten wrong this whole time is it's not the tree itself that might provide those things, but it's the caretaker. Isn't it not going to stay there?
It's not going to stay there.
Here, let's just... Here. Yeah! So, it's very likely that whatever Eam has, he's had 800 years to obtain it.
Mm-hmm.
The only kink that all of this kind of puts in my thought process is, how is Im not the final bad guy?
He might be.
Like, what's Blackbeard in all of that?
So,
And I don't want to get off on a huge tangent here, but it does beg the question.
So my thought process on it kind of goes, so I do believe that Blackbeard is actually a member of the D clan. I think he knows a lot more about the origins of it than a lot of people do that are involved in the D clan. But if I was to give a first guess, is that he's a guy who wants power. He's a planner, and he definitely has the name of D, but he wanted the power of the Void clan. I'll call them.
Yeah.
Until they're given an actual name.
Do you think Xebec fell into a similar?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Xebec was one of them.
Here's the thing, right? And this is the crazy bit, right? If you go back to the old generation, you got Xebec, you got Roger, you got Garb, right? Representative of the pirates, representative of the man who wants to be king of the world and like take everybody else out, right? And then you got Garb, right? Marines, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Because clearly this is a great separation between Marines and the Celestial Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
These dudes do not give a shit. The Marines are pawns of them, right? They're below them even. Xebec's person that's inheriting his wealth could be Blackbeard.
What if?
Well, then, I'm almost done. Roger is obviously will is being fulfilled by Luffy. And then Garp, you look Kobe, you can look at, Aki Inu in a really weird way, right? You can see that as like the third antagonist.
Yeah.
So Blackbeard, Luffy,
Emu?
Emu's not really, Emu's kind of the fourth thing, because Emu's been present the whole time. He's the way fucking...
Blackbeard, Luffy, Aki
He's
Inu.
been the bad guy since the beginning of the Void.
Yeah.
Right? There's been struggles between these three organizations for years and years and years and years. Just continues.
Yeah.
If there wasn't an overarching story here of Luffy being like the one to bring the dawn and all that shit, this would just be another generation where watches crazy shit happen and he wins, ultimately. Because no one knows about it. No one cares about the Gorosei. No one sees the Gorosei as big bad guys. They see the Marines as bad guys, Celestial Dragons as bad guys, right?
I mean, Sabo does, obviously.
Sure. Revolutionary Army is a newer concept, though. Dragon just started that whole thing with Vegapunk after the Ohara incident. Yeah. That never was a thing before. And he didn't even know about the King of the World. Queen of the World, whatever the fuck, right? That shit's brand new. So, I don't know what that leaves our final bad guy to be if is at the middle of all this shit. That means we have to overthrow the Marines, we have to overthrow the Celestial Dragons, and then and then we can maybe find the One Piece with Shanks and Blade. Like, holy shit, the final saga is getting crazy, because I don't even know who the true final bad guy is.
And I think that's what makes it so great. Is because like there's so many like there's some really worthy people to be the final bad guy, but we can't really tell right now. Like
Luffy don't even know what his own fruit is.
Because right now, Emu seems very powerful, but also they don't seem all knowing.
Luffy don't even know who the bad guy is.
I could see it just as easily being Emu revealing their true selves, or I could see it being Blackbeard stealing whatever power it is from Emu and being the true enemy in the end.
That's the third devil fruit. If Emu's a mythical Zoan.
Maybe that was his end goal this whole time.
I mean, he did want to go to Reverie. That's maybe once Let's not forget, the last thing Blackbeard wanted to do was to establish a kingdom, right? I'm going to establish a kingdom. Why the fuck are you establishing a kingdom? To get to Reverie and then to be able to have access to Em? How much does Blackbeard know?
I think he knows a lot more than we think he does.
Do you think he might know about the King of the World?
He might.
Do you think he cares?
So going back to what I was going to say earlier, so this might be a long shot, it might not be. What if Rox D. Xebec and Marshall D. Teach, they don't necessarily have the same name, but what if they are, or at least Rox is directly related to Lily and whoever she married? Because if that was the case, if Lily was from the other side, one of these, and married one of the D's,
right,
that would give him the name, but also the potential corruption of the other side.
Sure.
So it'd be interesting to see if there's that Lily's
the son of Lily and this true D leads to someone who saw both of his parents fail and get a bunch of rocks tossed around the world and was like, "Fuck that! I'm just gonna take over the world."
What if
Come in Xebec.
What if that's the corrupted line of the tree
that leads to Xebec?
that leads to Zebek and maybe Blackbeard.
Because here's the thing. Goldie Roger wanted the One Piece. That was his whole thing. He was gonna find the 4 road poneglyphs that led to the One Piece. Zebek didn't give a shit about that. Zebek just wanted to conquer the world. Everyone under his thumb. Established the most powerful fucking crew. It took the head of the pirates, Roger, and the head of Marines at the time, Garp, to take him and his crew down.
Yeah.
Who then dispersed and became Yonko themselves. Very fucking powerful crew. Very fucking powerful Roger and Garp team up, right? That's the thing. Those are 2 very different end goals, but they're both pirates.
But they were also both Ds that fought against him.
Yes.
Which is super interesting.
All 3 Ds.
And that's also, I was going to say...
Again, that leaves Emu out of the equation of a final boss battle, right?
Well, I think that's until we figure out Emu's actual, like...
Who the fuck is Emu?
Who they are in relation to everything. They're obviously not a D, or are they? Who knows? We'll find out, I'm sure, someday. But...
No gods, knights.
But... I was going to say... I was really excited about what I was going to say, too. Shit.
You got it. You got it.
Let's see. Okay, so speaking hypothetically, if the kingdom that was destroyed in the Void Century was
the ancient kingdom,
was the kingdom of the D's,
right?
What if they had different?
Maybe the name of the kingdom is where the D comes from.
What if they had different family lines, like say Nefertari?
Sure.
Or they had and maybe there's certain families that broke away, like Marshall or like Zebek. Or Rox or Zebek is the name. It'd be Zebek.
Rox, Zebek.
It'd be
Rox.
Yeah, it'd be Rox, yeah. So this might be like a feud, like almost a civil war almost. And like I could see this.
Would you say it'd be a family feud? No, obviously not.
I mean, potentially. I mean, if I'm at all right about this.
Clearly, the Ds are not aligned in our current timeline.
There are some Ds that have definitely different intentions from the ones we usually see.
Even Law didn't want to stay under Luffy for that long.
Yeah, but there was at least a connection there.
No, but like he had his own... Here's the thing with Ds, right? Ds are ambitious people with big dreams, right? You could say D means dream. Another D word, right? Mm-hmm. They follow their dream and they don't apologize and they don't ask permission. They just do, right? That's what Luffy's doing. He wants the One Piece. He wants to be king of the pirates. He wants whatever the fuck that is.
Whatever that's a step towards.
Well, and also whatever the hell he told his crew and everyone else. And everyone's like, ha ha ha!
Apparently it's
Luffy, you're a fucking idiot.
It's apparently the same thing Roger said, too.
Right. Right. Well, could have been. Well, the anime made it seem like it. Yes.
The assumption.
Yeah. Law wants to figure out what the D's all about, right? That's his whole thing. If his mentor's death was worth, his death. Blackbeard wants to rule the world. Saul wanted to protect one child from Ohara. He wanted to warn them. Garp wants to, I don't know. Garp wants to followers, but also not take
Right now, I think he wants to protect the new generation.
Yeah, sure. Right. The Ds have their own guidelines, so it's very hard for them to work together for any period of time, which maybe that's what M is talking about in that when they were one ancient kingdom and everyone, that was a D, worked together to make that happen, and it was very difficult to beat them and destroy that ancient kingdom and establish themselves. This would be a faded version of them now because they are not together. They're all inner fighting and no one knows what the fuck that's about, so no one can really truly get what they want. Maybe.
Yeah, but but it's just so interesting.
Oh, it's incredibly interesting. And that's all very deep. Another D word. Let's move on to the less deep parts of this chapter.
Probably the most surprising part.
Fucking Wapol saw all of this through a little hole in the wall that led to the throne room, the horrifying visages of the Gorosei, the death of Cobra, and Sabo as well. He watched the whole thing and went, they're gonna kill me!
Run for your life!
Eat for your life! Hum nom nom! And just what?
But it's so Oda though, and I love it.
I
love it, honestly.
No, it's good. And it gives Vivi a way out that's completely unexpected, that was uncalled for.
It's very One Piece.
That works.
I don't think anybody would have called Wapol getting her out of there.
It works. Shirahoshi gets taken back to the Red Port, safe. Vivi was kidnapped. Here's a question for you, Brock.
Yes.
Did CP0 Aegis, before known as CP9, kill Palinchaka?
They kill him?
Don't forget, Cobra said, hey, Palinchaka, go protect Vivi. You know how she runs away. We do not see them with Vivi.
No.
Did they capture her before? Did Lucci actually drop her off here? Because that was the last person she was talking to before we see her in the scene.
I'm willing to guess, just considering what we've seen so far, she was grabbed before they got back to her. Is my guess.
And they're just looking for her.
And they're looking for her. Not to deny the possibility of it, of course.
I'd really like it if they were on Morgan's ship with her. But that's just me, because I love Palinchaka.
No, I love it too.
And I miss them.
I
want to see them post-time skip.
But also, this whole thing is really making me think that Vivi really will join them for the end of the journey.
Do you think Morgan's is taking her directly to where he just announced news that, like, Luffy was doing all this shit to Vegapunk? I don't think so.
I think yes, because he's going to get a fucking good story out of that.
What?
That's what he cares about.
What is it? He also going to lose his life? I mean, there's Marines on the way. There's a Blackbeard ship.
I don't think he's gonna go in there himself. He's gonna drop him off and then take pictures.
He's gonna drop Vivi off on Egghead?
Listen, bro, like there was a freaking.
Don't you think she's worth more to him?
There was a Denden Mushi in the council chamber.
Well, of course there was. I mean, yes. Why not drop a Denden Mushi? Why drop the Princess of Alabaster?
Exactly. That's why he's bringing her. Dude, right now he's centered himself in the middle of events. So here's the thing: we know he can take care of himself, and he knows how to.
Morgan's? Yeah, from one CP0 agent that, like, not zero necessarily, just a Cypher Pole agent that infiltrated this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think
he's going where Kizaru's going.
I don't think he's gonna fight Kizaru.
I don't think so either. But like,
I think here's the thing. I don't think. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, yeah, admirals are very powerful, but they're not all seeing. They're not gonna. Their eyes aren't everywhere at once.
No.
Like, Kizaru's got more to deal with than Morgan's.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to put a little pirate sticker on you, Brock, okay? You're a pirate now, okay? I'm going to tell you, hey, Brock, I need some milk from Albertsons, right?
Okay.
Okay? You're going to go get me milk from Albertsons.
All right.
Oh, also Kizaru's there, but don't let that deter you. Are you going to Albertsons right now?
Different Albertsons from where he's at.
Exactly, which is why I cannot imagine that Morgan's goes,
You're comparing a store to an entire island. And you can bet your ass Morgan has got out of scrapes.
But you know that here's the thing. Morgan's has appeared in places that have lots of security, and he's not the main target.
He was at Big Mom's banquet.
Big security, not the target. Don't forget that. Those are two important things.
But here's the thing. But she's also not someone you could trust.
Who? Big Mom?
Yeah.
Sure. But he's also not in her bad graces, right? We know that much, at least.
She's still unpredictable.
He's not in the bad graces of going to the Reverie and taking photos because he's the World Economic Journal, and largely he does what the world government says, right? Actually, I mean, I'm starting to convince myself. Maybe if he has good relationships with them, he could cover Egghead under the title of, hey, I'm with the paper.
Listen, the vibes he's given me
is
a man who knows how to survive, a man-bird. And a man-bird that will do what it takes to get the best story.
And you think the best story would be dropping Vivi off on Egghead and...
At the center of all this shit, where a Yonko's crew is, and the Admiral's heading towards? Fuck yeah.
What does that get him other than a good story? Just devil's advocate here.
The story of the century.
Okay, really good story. Anything else?
Listen, okay, someone's gotta be there to really report the big event that happens on that island. And I think no one would be better for that than Morgan's.
Okay, that I agree with.
Now here's the thing, Alex, real quick.
I agree with that.
I don't deny that he might have something else up his sleeve, but I do think he has plenty of reason to bring them straight there because I think he's one of those guys that he's kind of like Dofi in that way, where he really wants to see how things play out.
Morgan's is.
He's not quite as puppet stringy, but he's
not at all puppet stringy.
But he's very much. I can't wait to see how this shit turns out.
He does have eyes and ears everywhere. That seems to be the thing with him.
And he just gives you that vibe of a survivor.
Don't forget, he got the photo of Luffy transforming into Nika. From Onigashima, from a battlefield with fucking Kaido. Now, I think Guernica gave that... Or not Guernica. No, was it Guernica? Joseph, the yellow beard guy, because he was the one that was running away and, like, probably took the picture.
Yeah.
He dropped that shit off with the world government, and then that somehow got in Morgan's hands, and then he released the press, and then they were pissed off that he was releasing that particular picture, and that pissed everyone off, and that's why he's not in their good graces anymore.
But that also convinces me that he really doesn't give a shit what they think to an extent.
I think if he goes to Egghead, he might start giving a shit because they won't be a fan of the stuff that he's been writing.
Well, they probably won't know he's there.
But here's the thing. He also did publish the Sabo story, I think how they wanted him to publish the Sabo story. Mm-hmm. So he's like in and out of good graces with them.
Yeah, look, here's the thing.
Because someone got him that photo. Or was that just his den
I think he's like the informational version of Vegapunk for them, where he doesn't necessarily vibe with them, but it's a mutual exchange of shit that, like, he's useful to them, they're useful to him. But I don't think, like, obviously if it was like a straight up, oh, Kizaru found him, he's dead. Yeah, he's dead. But
true.
Kizaru's not going to be focused on him.
No.
Kizaru's going to be focused on the Emperor's crew and the fact that they're trying to take the brilliant scientist, the smartest person in the world with them.
Do you not think any of the other ships would see, his whole giant bird parachute fucking thing,
right,
and not go, that's not good?
Right now, my presumption would be, my presumption would be to presume
that presume you shall.
Because here's the thing with that type of character, the shady character who has eyes and ears everywhere, has obviously some form of combat experience. And like just can be everywhere. Mm-hmm. They can escape from usually the worst shit. Like, and this is something I see in lots of series. And like, it's also completely possible I'm overestimating him, but it would not surprise me if he's the type of guy who can get away from almost anything, and that includes top tier fighters. Just because he has his tricks, he's been in it for a long time.
Yes,
and like, you don't never truly figure it out. But he's like, I've got my ways.
That's the thing, too. He is an albatross fruit user. We only ever see him in hybrid. So I guess if he ever really wanted to get away from a situation, he could just release all of his fucking seagulls and then fly amongst them until he was out of there.
And also,
he's got that as an option.
If he goes into his regular bird form, he's farther away. You can't tell if he's not an actual bird.
That's true.
Like, I think he has his ways.
He's definitely not strong enough to denote like a powerful aura or some shit.
Absolutely not.
He's just a fucking albatross
but I think
with a hat.
But I think as like the head of the World Journal, the Economic Journal, he knows how to get in and out of places even when there's huge threats around. Onigashima, Whole Cake Island are just proof of that, in my opinion. I
think you're right about that. I think he is a character that will be around and doing things and messing people up.
And once again, I think, I think when you have, like, we get assume Kizaru has incredibly powerful observation.
100%.
Has to. That mostly applies to what you're focusing on. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be just the entire sea around you.
So you don't see a scene where he's approaching Egghead and Kizaru like glances over and shoots him down with a finger beam and then goes back to his normal shit?
I mean, I can see it happening if he's dumb enough to get that close.
I think it would just be funny, and then that's why Vivi would land there. I think it could be not so much like Kizaru meant to like kill anyone. He was just like, that's in the way. Okay, on to the mission.
I'm not.
And he's like, ah!
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. Kizaru seems a bit too, trying to find, for lack of a better term, lazy to go out his way to just kill a bird for no reason.
No. I'm not saying the bird. I'm saying his whole boat ship thing.
Oh, the boat? Well, I don't think they're going to get in Kizaru's view.
I'm hoping not, but also...
If anything, they're going to come from the other side of the island.
That would power scale Kizaru, though, if he just shoots something out of the sky no matter where they are, and then that's how Vivi gets there. I see it more... Okay, here's what I will say, and maybe this is more of a prediction thing. Actually, it's a prediction thing. I will have a prediction on that if we are returning to Egghead soon.
Okay.
Anyway... Jabra and Khalifa, last time we saw them in CP9, they were watching the whole Karasu versus Ryukyoku, Fujitora, which we now know is more of a three-way. Fujitora helping the slaves out, Ryukyoku being, what the fuck? And then Karasu probably punching him and shit.
Yeah.
So that's fun. It also kind of gets rid of the whole idea that Karasu held off both of them.
Yeah.
That seemed unrealistic, but it sounded cool for a minute.
It sounds cool, but also it's definitely a lot more in line with what we think the power could be there.
Yes.
But also, it sticks.
Karasu should not be admiral level.
It stays in line with Fujitora's personality and his line of thinking. Like, he's not going to hurt innocent people.
Right.
He's not Akainu.
No, and he's not going to let Ryukyogu do it either.
Yeah, like, he's like, but this is the guy who, like, told Akainu to fuck off, essentially.
Yes. We get an update that, we had Leo and Sai proclaiming their Straw Hat Fleet status to everyone after doing that to a Celestial Dragon. So that's great.
Their bounties are going to go up after this.
100%. Fujitora turns on Ryukyogu. That's crazy. And then while Vivi's thinking of all this shit and trying to think of a way out of this, coming through the wall with his giant mouth. Oh, man of the hour, funnily enough. It's frickin'...
Wapol.
It's Wapol, and Vivi, being her smart little self, catches a ride and completely evades all of CP0 there, which...
I think that goes to show how fast Wapol was running, too, that they were like, wait, what?
Now, I do think there has to be a little bit more, right?
Yeah, I know. I think they're definitely going to come chasing after him.
I think there's going to be a little bit more.
I think Morgan's is going to be the one that gets him out of there by the end of this.
We have to find out... Also, if you zoom in here on Jabra, I do think his eyes are coming out of his face a little bit.
Let me see real quick.
Look in the corner where Wapol first comes through the wall.
I think that's just his hair.
That's his hair?
I think his hair is just flying by.
Oh, that does look like hair now that you say that. Anyway, he saves the day. She jumps a ride. They're all confused. And then the biggest, most powerful blow in the entire chapter goes to Wapol's wife in the form of a perhaps mistress, younger woman in his mouth.
But that also leads to the thought that she might actually like Wapol.
Oh, I think so. I think they actually do enjoy each other, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah.
A mistress.
Eloping to start a life on the run. Which, so ironic, that statement there.
Yeah. But honestly, speaking to that part, and I was telling you this earlier, but it wasn't like Buggy where it like hit me hard and actually hit me in the heart, but it was definitely completely unexpected.
100%.
There's no way I would have guessed Wapol of all people would have gone around that situation.
Yeah, I would have thought something in the realm of like, CP0 tries to take Vivi, Vivi's protected by Chaka, she runs off and then is picked up by Morgans, and Wapol is also there for some reason. This makes that work a little bit better. And also,
it also worked
because he's a fucking coward.
And it would also work a lot if CP0 was to chase him. I personally don't think it would like be a goof on them at all if it was Morgan's that ended up getting them out of there and hiding them from him. Because I think that would just reinforce my thought that he knows how to get away from shit.
Well, that is the piece that's missing. How do they get to Morgan's and agree to get on his ship?
I mean, he would be here for the reverie.
He is here for the reverie. I just want to see that transition. So I hope there is another chapter dedicated to this reverie arc.
Either way, I think we're getting close to getting back to Egghead, though.
I think.
Not necessarily next chapter, but that's for predictions. But
yeah. Anyway, really pretty color spreads. A lot happened.
So much.
I think the biggest question I have is just what the fuck is going on with the Gorosei? I want to know what their fruits are. I want to know if
are they fruits or are they just creatures?
Are they just monstrous people that have human forms?
Is this a different tribe of people?
It could be
that could transform.
It could be a tribe. That could be true.
Are these people that the fruits were created from, based off of?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's really hard to know, and that's probably my biggest thought. My biggest question here is just what the hell is going on with the Gorosei? I just need to know.
Because at the very least, we know they have some form of fighting.
And here's the thing. One of these guys might be revealed at Egghead, right?
Yeah.
Jay Garcia is one of these things, and we might get to see that form. You know what? That's actually what's going to convince me that they're not a part of him, is because Jay is so far away from the rest of them right now, heading to Egghead. I think they are their own individuals, and they have these powers or like statuses of a clan, and they're just so different. I gotta believe it's devil fruits. Or some really fucked up experiment gone wrong.
Oh, no, this is something we've never seen before.
It's definitely, Oda's keeping us in the dark for a good reason. And I want to say that Jay, if we look at their positioning before they were taken out, right? So the swordsman is there. And if you go to the left, I believe that's the Russian-looking guy, right? Yeah, sword Russian guy. That's Jay there on the far left. So if we're to assume that these are still their places, then that is Jay. He's this thing.
That weird, like,
which
horned.
I'm kind of hoping it might be like the island puller? The island puller giant.
Like oars?
Yeah, because that's kind of what Onigashima always reminded me of. It's just a really large version of oars. Maybe somehow that was a devil fruit. That's the only thing I'm drawing there because it just looks so much like Onigashima.
Interesting.
And maybe these aren't full transformations. Maybe these are like their hybrid. Because remember how Lucci was bigger, and then when he got awakened, he became a smaller version, right? Maybe that's what's kind of happening here. This reminds me of that filler arc with the bird dragon things, right?
Yeah.
And then this just looks like a cloud. And then you see...
I mean, it kind of looks like Eneru.
What's interesting is we see this guy again, and I think this is the samurai.
Me too.
I think that's the samurai if you follow the placements. And we see him one more time, and it almost looks like he has a couple legs here, maybe? I'll put the images up here for all this, mind you. But, like... And it looks like he's, like, doing this kind of fucking... Like, is he a velociraptor? Like, what's going on here, bro? It's so weird and interesting.
They're also... They're that blurry for a reason, too.
Yes. Oda's definitely not revealing them here. But... And this might be my last question. Why? If the Gorosei have whatever the fuck this shit is going on, why do they need God Knights? Not only do we have to go over 5 new powers of the Gorosei, potentially, but also we have like 9 or 10 God's Knights to figure out what they do.
I mean, they didn't take over the world in a day.
They didn't.
I'm sure they had...
But they did beat the Ancient Kingdom, which had a lot of D's, which...
Nuts?
D's nuts. Dude, if there's a character called D's nuts...
Look how they massacred my boy.
Oda, you have a great opportunity there. I'm just saying. You could partner with Mr. Beast. Anyway, because he has the chocolate bar D's nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, not sponsored. I'm very excited to see what they can do. I only hope that the God's Knights don't follow the same pathway as the ninja in Wano Kuni.
Where they just kind of fell to the side.
They were there, they were kind of cool looking, and then none of them did anything important.
Well, with the God's Knights, I imagine... So, even the Revolutionary Army, the top of them, is worried about them.
Yeah.
Or at least
Dragon was
at least wary of them.
Yeah.
So, I think since they're a lot more central, because these, like, you know, the ninjas, they're special soldiers within one kingdom. These are top knights for the leaders of the world.
Yeah, they settle disputes between celestial dragons.
I don't see them being just nobodies that'll just be like tossed aside or used for comedic effect.
And that's the other thing too. I don't even know if they really leave Marisha. They're there to settle disputes with celestial dragons. So.
And also, it would be interesting to...
So if they're hunting Sabo, they'd have to.
This also, if we were to go into, let's say, a similar situation to Wano or Eni's Lobby, where there's different levels of enemies that fight different levels of allies.
Right.
You know, it could also be potential that the God Knights aren't going to be fought purely by, like, let's say, the Straw Hats. Maybe some of the Straw Hats will take on the Gorosei, and while some will take on God
Jay.
Knights, and maybe they'll have some Straw Hat Grand Fleet people taking on God Knights type thing. Like, because at this point, there's so many allies they can use in these fights now that I think we're getting close to the part where the Straw Hats fight just by themselves is almost done. I think we're getting close to the part where they're going to start needing, or at least being in vicinity of their fleet.
Ooh.
And or like associates like Law and or Bellamy, stuff like that.
There could be some God Knights with Jay maybe on his ship.
We might find that might be a big part of what happens there.
Might be a couple there. God Knight versus Seraphim.
What if the big thing? Actually, we'll talk about it in the
Predictions.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep you guys up on our prediction things. Don't worry, we're getting to that in just a second here. Just gotta check in with Brock to see if there's any final thoughts. Final thoughts, Brock?
No, Alex, I'm good.
Okay, well, I'm good. My final thought. Thank you very much for watching our review of Chapter 1085. we're looking like we don't have a break next week, so we'll see you guys again very soon.
So excited.
In the short term, please subscribe, please leave us a comment, like the video, check out our socials in the description. If you enjoy this kind of content, please let us know. And as always,
ring that bell.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
For now.